kilometres an hour. How many times the sound barrier is that?
About 1.8 to 2. So Wardy's pulling about 5.5 G, coming back to show line here. He's setting up for the inverted pass. There he goes. And he's right now experiencing -1 G. All the blood's being pushed actually into his head.
Give him a wave, ladies and gentlemen. Now the G load in that corner and what he's actually doing there?
He's pulled about 5.5 Gs. Now you see the cloud coming off the top of the aeroplane. And he's now got 35 alpha on the aeroplane, or 35 degrees. He's going to recover to 200 feet, and he's going to perform a minimum radius turn. And he's going to pull about 5.5 G through that.
You guys don't just fly the aeroplane against each other, you also fly against ground targets as well?
Absolutely. So we multi-roll. We'll drop bombs, anything from dumb bombs to laser-guided and GPS-guided bombs. You see the airplane basically does a tail skid there. Wardy's now pulled 40 degrees alpha up into the vertical, and now he's bunting as aggressively as he can. And in all that period of time, going to point straight at the ground until 2,700 feet, at which point he'll recover at 5 G back to the horizon. The power is right back at idle there, and now he's going to slam the power back up to max afterburner. Now Wardy's setting up for the slow speed pass. About 200 kilometres an hour. This is not as slow as the aircraft can fly, however, is close to the ground. To ensure safety, if we have an engine failure, then we limit ourselves to 25 degrees angle of attack and 120 knots.
So in effect, he could have an engine failure in this regime and still fly the aeroplane away?
Yeah, absolutely. There is, at all times through this display, when we practice this, we spend a lot of time in the simulator. This is absolutely safe. But that's pretty amazing to see an aircraft nose point at 25 degrees in the sky. 120 knots. Wardy's now gone maximum afterburner, and he's gently pulling the nose up, accelerating, demonstrating awesome thrust away to the aircraft. Rolling onto his back, he's going to accelerate out to maximum low altitude legal speed. He's going to come past us doing 0.9 times the speed of sound, or about 1,100 kilometres an hour.
Now, we hear the argument
is out off the coast. You can see Wardy pulling, he's pulling 7.5 G sustained here, setting up, and you'll see the top side of the aircraft. And you'll hear the jet go quiet as he pulls it out of afterburner. Wardy's now sustaining 7.5 Gs, grunting and groaning to stay awake. And now he's going to set up for a configured pass. You watch the aircraft.
Things to get rid of the speed. How does he do that? Why does it happen?
Basically, we use angle of attack just to flat plate the aircraft and generate a massive amount of drag. Tactically, we'll use that as well if we're trying to flush a guy out in front of us. You see Wardy put the power up here, and now he's just going to start to roll. Now accelerating 950 kilometres an hour. Right now Wardy could go all the way through to well over 20,000, but you'll see him pull off. He's only going to be at about 10,000 feet as he pulls back down. And now he's going to join up with the TAM Chief Pilot, Darren Crabb, in the media office and formation flight pass.
This will be like old home week for Darren as well. Darren's a F-18 driver of note, and I'm sure he'll be looking across somewhat wistfully, but I hazard to guess your display pod might look across and wonder what it'd be like to drive another twin-engine aeroplane.
Absolutely. You know, aviation is awesome. Darren and I flew together quite a bit back in the
museum.
How good is that?
Meteor and F-18.
Darren was, as he flew away horizontally, Aaron was accelerating in the vertical. The aeroplane has more thrust than weight at this point, and he would have only been doing about 140 knots when he unloaded, but he would have accelerated back out to about 180 knots, or the opponent can't, and he's able to manoeuvre to advantage. So you can see the dark cloud as Aaron puts the power up, the gear and flap are coming up. He's now in full afterburner, and this is red hot, ladies and gentlemen. How good was that?
That's not, the airplane isn't actually turning, it's sliding. The nose is pointing